This is my. I
Welcome
can
to
just feel
Command and
like
Protocols podcast. Yeah, we're already recording,
I.
and this is episode 11. We're back after a long hiatus.
Well, we're
What
actually
have
recording.
you? Yeah. What have you been up to, Andy? What have you been up to, bud? I'm staring into the monitor.
Not a lot. I went to my
I
RTT.
like to jump scare. I like to jump scare Andy sometimes on the start. So tell us about your week.
I did my punishment RTT with Annihilation Legion on Monday, and yeah, work, and then some
Yeah,
practice games ready for Sheffield next weekend.
nice.
That's about it, really.
I've done some practice games. Played the Royal Warden for the first time and
It's good.
realised that I should have played it the whole time.
It's good,
Like
isn't
that
it?
is absolute. I played against Imperial Knights, and I'll divulge about the game later in the episode. But it was very very useful.
Yeah.
So just we might as well jump straight in, and you can
Yep.
run through your RTT. So what did you take? Why did you take it? And how did you do?
So we built a list on stream together. Refer to our previous episode. Obviously, Matt will link it in the description. Yeah.
Yes, I will link it in the description.
I had one practice game with that into Death Guard. We tried the round 3 layout and mission from the tournament, and it was absolutely terrible. Not just the list, but the actual map. Like, we were very heavy on the melee, and there was nowhere to hide, nowhere to stage, and I went first and couldn't shoot anything, so I just thought, well, sod it, and I'll just throw everything forwards. There's no way he can kill all my army, right? But he killed half my army in the first turn. I managed to win the game. We're not going to talk about how, because my friend might get annoyed.
I kind of want to know. You didn't tell me.
He's still kicking himself. He was just a little bit too scared of one of the Scorpex squads. He didn't want to move forward because he couldn't shoot it that turn he moved forward, and then he was worried that I'd tag him. And then those units would be out of the game, but by not moving them, they were out of the game anyway. And I was able to just concentrate with what I had left on one of the flanks. He went all in trying to kill my Void Dragon with Mortarion and some shooting and just failed. I mean, the Void Dragon failed to kill Mortarion over 3 combats as well, but he just couldn't. You know, as he started losing resources, his ability to take reduced enough that I was able to take over half the board, and the other half of the board, which he basically massacred me on, he was just too slow to get through. So I managed to just outscore him, basically. But obviously, when we talked about it afterwards, you know, there was a few ways to win for him, but it was a case of, like, I had no shooting, so he just needed to deploy on the line with all of his tanks, like the Playbase Crawlers, the Predators, and just move forwards, and there was nothing I could do about that. So, but my list felt it just didn't feel very balanced. Yeah, I guess we were, you know, it's Annihilation Legion, but we can still play some shooting. The Omnitics, yeah, it was a bad matchup for them, but they didn't get into the game early enough. So I took out them. I took out some flayed ones, and the Ophidians, which, you know, we all love, right, Matt? You love Ophidian?
Yeah, I've got a bone to pick about Ophidians, and I'll be talking about that later in the episode. I'll tell you that for the fact.
And yeah, so I added the 2 DDAs basically, and the list actually felt pretty good. You know, I had 1,005 points of non-Annihilation Legion units and 995 points of Annihilation. So I
That
feel
isn't
like
what we agreed on.
there was, yeah,
You're gonna have to play another tournament now.
I could have just dropped the Void Dragon down to the Transcendent to make it 1,000 each, and then jimmied the rest of the units around. But
that's not how that works.
we said 1,000 points of each, and
Yeah.
you know, you got to give me 5 points.
No,
You're going to give me 5 points. It's fine, because as part of your punishment, you're going to be playing an RTT with Annihilation Legion as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, you said you might take this list, but maybe you're not. Anyway, so the list I ended up taking is very clean when you look at it. There's 2 or 3 of everything. I have the two enhancements on my Scorpet Lords. The one, obviously, which is the good one, where you can't fall back on a 3-up, and the one where at the start of the fight phase you take a battle shock test. And I promise you, I never forgot it once. Yeah, I basically forgot that every single time, and halfway through, the activation or the phase or the next turn, I'm like, oh, you should have taken a battle shock over there. Can you do it? And yeah, but yeah, it was nice playing with Catans again. I haven't played with them for a while. With the prices the points going up so much, they've become a lot less viable, I think. But they felt really strong in this RTT.
Nice.
So yeah, so round one. It was only a 16-player RTT. It wasn't the strongest field in the world, I'll be honest with you. My first opponent was on Dark Angels. It was his first ever tournament.
Very good.
Unlucky, he's still playing a list with Deathwing Knights, Terminators. It was still quite tricky to chew through, but he just kind of drip fed me, and I just tabled him essentially. There was if I'm charging his Terminators with my Scorpex, there was nothing there to kill the Scorpex the following turn, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Which is something that happens quite regularly, where you go out, you kill something, but then they kill you back. And more often than not, you haven't traded up. You've always ended up trading down because, it's 170 points. And throughout the entire game, I'm just looking at it going, this list would be so much better in literally any other detachment. Basically. But yeah, it was what it was. Having AP3 on the hex marks was really nice. The only other time I've had that is for plunging fire at Battlefield Birmingham.
Nice.
But yeah, AP3 ignores cover. It's actually really strong on a hex mark. The AP on the shooting never really came up because AP4 sitting in rules all the time. And I never got +1. I never got +1 to charge. The whole event. Reroll charge is actually quite nice. Because the number of times where I'd fail was quite high, and being able to reroll multiple charges or being able to roll like a Catan charge and know I could spend the CP on that because anything else that was charging was also going to get rerolls. Was actually really nice. But number of times I actually wanted to charge with multiple of my fluffy units, like the Scorpex, wasn't very high because they always had interrupt CP, and then if they get interrupted, they just die. So you've got to be very careful with that. But yeah, I ended up winning that one 99-35. I'm not going to lie, I was genuinely annoyed that I didn't get 100. Yeah. But I put that down to only scoring 5 points turn one with the secondaries. But, it is what it is. 99, it was okay. Round two, I played into more Daka Orcs, which I thought this is going to be ridiculous. It wasn't the most meta list, like the most refined, but it still had the usual Flaskets, Tank Busters, Looters, trucks, and then it had what's the bloody guy with Gretchen that scouts forward?
Zogrod.
Yeah, it had that, and it actually had Gazgul and some Mega Knobs as well. And yeah, anyone who says that army isn't broken just needs shooting quietly round the back, or even in public, probably.
In game, of course.
Oh no, just straight in the head,
In game.
Yeah, even with somebody who I wouldn't say was a very strong player, just rolling dice, like the damage output is crazy. Turn 2, I think I lost both my Doomsday Arcs, the Nightbringer, 8 Scorpex, 1 Lord, a Hexmark, and all my Flayed ones on turn 2.
Nice.
And I wasn't even in a bad position. And I was just like, oh, well, yeah. I mean, I kind of expected it, but at the same time, I didn't really want it to happen. It just kind of happened. I still won 83-66. I just concentrated on one side of the battlefield, bogged him down a little bit, so a lot of his shooting was in like the bottom corner of one of the edges of one of the deployment zones, and he couldn't get out the other edge quick enough to stop me from scoring. Basically, so I just had to use my position to play and win. The Catans felt the Void Dragon felt strong. It ended up on his home objective killing the Gretchen to take that away from him. But yeah, like the character that goes with the Gretchen is really strong as well. He basically outs Scorpex by himself, and the Gretchen's just.
It's because you put him to the war. Like you put him into the war. You scout 9, move. I think they move 12 in the war. plus D6 plus charge. So they just move so quick. And then -1 to be wounded, +1 to wound, 5 up in button.
Yeah, there was hard to chew through some of the units. Scorpex do a decent job once they get into melee, but they have to get there. And there wasn't the greatest staging. The Void Dragon shooting was actually quite nice. AP1, even though they have cover, but they've got like 4 or 5 up saves and 2 damage was pretty decent. And he tanked quite a few shots when it half damage was and 5 will feel no pain against the 3 damage weapons was basically like each one is kind of doing 1 damage. So and he was playing a couple of vehicles. Like I was able to drain a few or get a few life back on trucks, and he had one walker thing, I don't know what it's called, Death Dread or something like that, which I didn't even shoot. I just kept it alive so that I could keep draining life and gaining D3 back with the Void Dragon each turn.
Like a resource.
Yeah, literally. Like he was there, I'm just like, I'm not going to shoot that. It's not doing anything to me. It's not hurting me. So I'm
Give me life.
Yeah, just stand there. I just kept walking towards it, and eventually I drained it to death.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was a nice little resource. So I won that one, and I think against like a really top player or with a really strong letter list, then I'm probably just going to get smashed in that one. But I mean, it's Annihilation.
Yeah, there's no fallback. Like 60% or 66% chance, is it? Or 60%?
66. Because it's on a 3-up, but
that's 60.
No, it's 66. But let's be honest.
No, it's out of 5.
It's a 3-up out of 6.
No, there's 6. Sorry, I'm fucking. Yeah, put me to bed. You can take me out back.
You can change your name to Can't Do Maths, Matt. Anyway,
Can't Do Maths, man.
Out of the entire tournament, I think that came up once. That can't fall back enhancement.
Really?
And he just rolled 2, so he fell back.
Oh, very good.
Which was all right because I mean it was in the next match, which I'll talk about.
Is it he rolls or you roll?
Well, technically, I suppose I roll, but I just let him roll.
You just let your opponent do it.
It was like, who rolls? I don't care if you want to roll it, you can do. So he rolled it. He rolled it. I was like, okay, well, you falling back. But it was a 9 on 1 wound, so I just overwatched it and killed it with a hex mark. So that was fine.
Nice.
But yeah, so that was round 2. A very nice introduction to more Daka orcs, to be honest with you, because I got to see what the units can do without them really doing what they can do, if you know what I mean. So like I got to play against it, see how my units kill theirs and what the best options are for that, and then what they can do and how they kill my units, and obviously we'll talk about that later in the episode when we work out how we're changing our list. But yeah, so 2-0 going into round 3. Now my friend on Death Guard was also undefeated at this point, and we were staring each other down as the pairings came out. He was crossing his fingers that he doesn't get to play me because this is, I think, the second or the third time we've been in the same spot in an RTT, and he didn't want to play me, and we didn't play each other. So round 3, I ended up playing into Imperial Knights, which was a bit of a shock.
Nice.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of inspiration from Reese because he had 2 Corvus Black Stars in the list. Alongside, I think it was 3 Helverins, 5 Warglaves, the Assassin, and Canis.
It's so much shit.
That's a lot of stuff, and I'm looking at
9 knights, a big knight, and 2 flyers.
8 little knights, 2 flyers, and a big knight, and the Assassin with Vex. And I'm looking at it going,
ridiculous.
I'm not sure I like this. I've only got, well, the Nightbringer can shoot, the Void Dragon can do a little bit, but I mean it's 1 spear shot. Does it hit? Sometimes. Does it wound? Then they always make the save. Or it goes through and it does 3 damage.
Yeah.
But they are good in melee, but then they also get slapped as well. Like you can get into Melter range from enough of those Warglaves, and I know people say that they're hitting on 3s, they're not as good as Brigands, they hit on 2s, but re-rolling 1 hit and 1 wound is actually really strong as well when it's 3 into 3s. So they were very consistent. He basically ran everything at me really, really early on, apart from Canis. He kept him back a little bit, but he came really at me and did a bit of shooting, did I think it took 6 wounds off the Void Dragon turn 1. And then I was looking at it going, well, my entire army can charge. I've got a Nightbringer up who can charge into the center. All my Scorpex can charge. The Void Dragon can charge, and everything can shoot. This turn, I'm going to obliterate him. So roll my first 1 on my Doomsday Arc shooting. Thought, okay, I'll keep it. I did 4 damage. Rolled the second 1 on my next Doomsday Arc shooting. Thought, well, okay, I'll CP reroll this one. Rolled a 1. Okay, so that did 4 damage. Missed with both of my heavy destroyers. I felt kind of bad. Nightbringer got 1 shot, as he always does. I think I actually got that one through. It did some damage. The Void Dragon Spear did nothing. His actual Strength 8 blast gun did 6 wounds. I thought, okay, that's not bad. Right, well, we'll have to charge now. And I got in with the Nightbringer. He didn't kill anything. I got 5 hits and then rolled 4 2s to wound. Nah, okay, no problem. To my Scorpex, one of the squads just decided not to bother charging. I just failed to charge twice. That was into another little night. So, long story short, I killed the 2 planes and I killed 1 Armiger and left 1 on a wound. And I thought, well, might be in a little bit of trouble here. I'd lost my flayed ones to the planes, basically. They didn't really have much of the shooting for them, but the fact they were in hover mode was just nice because I could just take them out and not have to worry about them getting into my back lines and killing my little destroyers. But yeah, he did some shooting, killed some stuff, and then I tabled him, basically, apart from Canis.
Oh.
Yeah, it turns out that, Scorpec Destroyer Lords are actually pretty good into Armigers. The Nightbringer decided to pull his finger out and actually did something. The Void Dragon too. He ended up getting... I ended up wanting to try and kill Canis at the end because Canis was the only thing left. But I had 1 DDA, I had 1 Scorpec Lord, and 1 single destroyer. And I left Canis on the 3 wounds at the end of the turn. So I thought that was a pretty good effort. And then, yeah, we rolled out Canis into the Void Dragon, and as you'd expect, he just swats him aside. You're no god. But yeah, the game it wasn't a close game in the end. I think I won to find out 94-69, and I was kind of a little bit generous with his points towards the end. But yeah, 1 whiffy turn felt bad, but the C'tans were just so good. They just felt so strong because he doesn't want to shoot them because they just don't die. But then when he does, it's just absorbing so much damage.
Yeah.
I kind of miss them, actually. And I think that one was on... What's the new Dawn of War called? Tipping Point?
No, Sweeping Engagement.
No, Sweeping Engagement. Oh, okay. What's the new other one then?
Hammer and Anvil is Tipping Point.
Yeah, it was Tipping Point, that's it. So yeah, I just kind of the list actually felt okay. It felt balanced. It felt good. There was tricks there, but do you want to know how many times I used the reactive move strats?
0.
How many times I used the fall back strat to do mortal wounds after they fell back?
0.
Yeah, how many times I used the +1 to hit and wound strat?
0.
Once.
Nice.
Once against Canis at the end with.
Was it mostly -1 to be hit?
I did that a few times. Yes, that was about it. And most of it was cycling cards, trying to get secondaries that I could score, and just CP rerolling a 4-up on my characters essentially.
Nice. Well played.
Because I was never rerolling the charges apart from the Nightbringer and the Void Dragon when they needed to charge, and a number of hits on a Doomsday Arc. I mean, I think over the first 3 turns, and I was shooting them every turn, they did a total of 12 damage between them. On the big gun. The little guns did some chip damage because the lethal hits actually went through. But yeah, they just kind of whiffed. But it's still the activations are there, and he had to respect the fact that they could just 1-tap. So overall, not bad. I mean, it would have been a better list than Star Shatter all day.
Yeah.
The no fallback enhancement didn't do anything because I mostly killed what I got into combat with, or they died straight away, and no one ever wanted to fall back. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that could just be a matchup thing. I'm sure if I got into a match where I could then tag like 6 units at once that didn't have any melee, like into Tau, for example, then it would be
Yeah, I'd like
really
to try it
strong.
with a 6-man, and then you like, especially on UKTC, which
Yeah.
I'll be playing on.
Yeah.
Which you can like rapid ingress because there's some really open rapid ingress spots on.
Even if you just leave them in your little, home super L, you can just hide them there, and they've got kind of agency to go, for a good half of the battlefield there, the whole center and towards each flank objective. But we were playing on Games Workshop, and I had a look at the terrain beforehand. There was nowhere to hide a big 6-man, like not even in your deployment zone, but just to stage anywhere.
You hear that, Games Workshop? You fucking suck.
Yeah.
The terrain sucks.
Yeah, I mean, the next event that he's running, now I've seen the terrain, I'm going to be running a minimum 2 Tesseract Vaults.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've not had the 2 vaults out since the Codex dropped. So it's time.
Guess you get to copy Danny.
Well, I'll be doing mine in probably Awakened Dynasty with +1 to hit.
With +1 to hit.
Or Star Shatter, because they can...
Why not just Star Shatter? Because the Silent King's better then.
He is, but getting +1 to hit all the time rather than just on the objectives.
Yeah, but move Silent King through wall, -1 damage Silent King, or advance and shoot Silent King.
Reanimating. You can advance and shoot the Silent King in Awakened.
Yes, for a CP.
Yes.
And you're saving 100 and... So at least, whatever. 110. You're saving 110 points. So you basically put 110 points down.
Well, the secret tech was there was also going to be a warrior squad in there.
Yeah.
Got a whole primary somehow, mate. Yeah. I'll bully them with 2 vaults and the king in there.
What about 2 vaults, king, Wraiths?
Well, I did think about that because it is a cheaper option. But the race can't control 2 objectives at the same time. Where they can a little bit, but they're very spread out. Whereas the warriors can a lot easier because there's 22 of them plus the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think I had room for the cryptos in that list, which,
they're not necessary, but they are helpful. If you're not running the Overlord, I think Crypto Thralls are pretty handy.
Yeah, because
they basically, I was saying to Andy, they're like a suit. They're like, them existing is a pseudo Resorb, because they are the 6 additional wounds that the Resolve would give you. I played a test game. Well, it wasn't a test game, sorry. I played a game against Imperial Knights. It was for the Stat Check Teams League that we're in. I'm playing with some of the Mind Goblin guys. Our mission for the team is to score so high that one of our teammates doesn't have to play. He got like halfway through his game in the first round, and then we just played, and we were like, "Yeah, you don't have to finish your game, mate. Just call it whatever it is." He was like losing. Right. We were like, "You don't. It doesn't matter what you get. We will win." So then our first 2 rounds have both gotten 20s. So my game was Imperial Knights, and it was on WTC, and it was Terraform, and I think it was Crucible, it was Search and Destroy. He was playing like Canis, 5 Little Knights, 2 Immolators, Sisters Squad to go inside, and then the 10 guys with the 4-up inbun. And a Calidus, and then he had an Atropos. It's got like a giant. It's got a Canis gun, and then it's also got another gun that's D6 plus. No, it's like a D6 plus something. The D3 shots, D6. It's not a good model. Like I didn't have to respect him whatsoever. So I was playing the Warriors, but I was playing Royal Warden for the first time, which is why I said that how much better. I find the list with a Royal Warden in there. So the list was. Actually, I might be able to pull it up because it might give a bit of a. I've seen some people commenting saying they want us to pull our lists up while we explain.
Yes, that makes sense. I mean, the Royal Warden is
Um,
really strong. Being able to actually
Yeah.
do some damage with the warriors rather than just having to fall back every turn is
Obviously,
good.
this
And he's got a
this
good
list,
gun.
I'm not super like. This is not the list I'm sold on. By the way, this is just a list I quickly made to try it. So the list is Illuminos Eras in Awakened, Imatech because I need the CP, Locust Lord again, Oricon, but Royal Warden this time. Only 2 Scorpion Lords, 20 Warriors, Ghost Dart, Reanimator, Scarabs for actions because I've got quite a few Cryptex. Crypto for Alls to replace the the fact that I don't have a
The
res
res
orb.
orb. Yeah.
2 DDAs, flayed ones, 3 heavies, and 2 lots of Scorpeps. I literally just threw this together, and essentially, all I did was just deploy the warriors out in the open, and then I was like, yeah, you can't kill them. And then and it was hidden supplies as well, so I just spread over. It was taking hold. Sorry, I think I said terraform. I just spread. It was hidden supplies taking hold, and I just spread over the 2 center objectives, and then just sat there basically with more than 8 OC.
Yeah.
And he went first though. He moved up, and I was like, oh, "Do you know how Necrons work?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." No, don't need to say anything then. And then he shot my warriors first turn for no reason, and that's like the biggest blunder you can make as a player is just don't shoot the warriors. If you can't kill them, don't shoot them.
Yeah.
And he shot them, so he just gave me extra movement because I just brought them back with the Ghost Arc, and then essentially I got 15s, he got 5s for the first couple of turns. He heroicked with Canis because I charged all of his stuff on the objectives. He handed me 14 saves and I passed 11 of them. And he was like, "Your dice are ridiculous." I was like, on average, I only lose like 3 more guys.
Yeah.
And I would also reanimate the 7 back. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And the game, he ended up dropping, which I thought was a bit weird, like or quitting the game. He ended up quitting the game. His turn 3, he rolled 10 attacks with his guy that had been in combat with my warriors since turn 2 or turn 1. Sorry, rolled 10 attacks, got 8 2s or something. It's hitting on 3s, and he's like, "Yeah, I quit." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like, "Yeah, you win. I lose. I can't win." Yeah, it's like I can't win with your dice.
Warriors do
And
that
being like that.
sometimes. They do.
Yeah, he just couldn't kill them at all. I managed. I did like it. It wasn't even looking that good for me because I shot 2 turns. I shot 2 DDAs into his knights, and I did 8 damage total. And that's all the damage I did. I killed a squad, and that's it. And he was just convinced that he was going to lose really bad. It was projected at about a 16, which is a 30-point win, a 16, so a 31-point win. So I was predicting to get a 31-point win because I had like the objectives, but he was not very happy with the dice. But he was from America, I think, and I don't know.
Yeah, just blame it on the fact that he's American. That's fine, but
I don't know. No, I said he's from America. So I was going to say about the time difference that I had to wait. I started the game at 10 p.m. my 10 p.m. So it's got nothing to do with the fact that he was American.
Yeah, well,
Probably.
I mean,
soft.
I've been playing Awakened as well, and having the Royal Warden allow you to just charge things and then fall back, shoot, and then charge them again just to protect the warriors. So at least some of my units don't have activations.
That was so useful. That was pretty much what won it. Like I didn't need to. I could get onto the objectives by just moving on there. I didn't need to advance. Like there's only some of that. There's very few maps where you need to advance to get
Yeah.
like 6 to get on both,
mean-
and so the free strat's nice, but Imhotep was kind of helping me. He was then holding my backfield. I didn't need to reanimate as often because of the arc. Like he would just attack me. I remember he killed he fought a big knight into me, and he killed just the thralls because he sweeped. I was like, yeah, thralls are dead. Gonna reanimate. Brought them back. He's like, can you bring them back every time? I was like, yeah.
Did you fight on death with them?
No, they weren't even close to anything.
Because they fight on death on a 2-up, which is really nice.
Yeah, they literally just like they just kept dipping around the whole thing basically wherever I needed them to be.
I pushed mine forwards because I played against Death Guard and my friend had 6 Deathstrike Terminators with the Lord of Virulence, so we roll all the hits in melee and stuff.
Yeah, it's good, that one.
So we played on sweeping engagement, so we had a quite close deployment, and he deployed 6 of them right up against the wall, essentially. Well, as far as close as he could to the center, basically. And I did the same with the Warriors, and I stepped out with the Warriors and went, all right, let's see what you can do. He charged. He didn't want to shoot because he didn't want me to pull the models away because the rest of them were all like an inch away behind the wall. So he didn't shoot. He charged me. He popped the strat for sustained and rolled a lot of dice. And then at the end of it, after the reanimation, he killed 1 Crypto Thrall and 3 Warriors.
So he just didn't even kill. How many did he kill in the initial attack?
2 Cryptos and I think it was like 5 Warriors. And
surely that's like way below average.
I mean, I got a 4-up invul and he was doing a sweep.
No, it's 1 damage.
And it's just 1 damage, so the Cryptos absorbed 6.
So that's like 12.
That's 12, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
that's so good.
The character actually, I rolled really badly on that one. The character killed like 7. At which point, I just reanimated them all back, and then
Thralls are so helpful for the sweep. Like that's why they're so good. That's why I'm enjoying them. I'm probably gonna. My future list is running the Thralls. I keep answering this question and then going back to them every time. Is like, do I want the heavy destroyers?
Yes.
I just don't know.
As I keep arguing, they're cheap enough that a lot of armies would want them for actions, like Marines, for example. They don't have anything at 55 points. And the gun's strong enough to actually be respected when they're not doing screening or actions.
I meant the 3-man heavy, sorry, with the Lord.
Oh, the Omnitics.
It's like, do I want to keep that? Yeah.
So
do I want to keep that?
So with Orcs in mind, I've taken them out and I've replaced them with 10 Immortals with Tesla and a Chronomancer, with the Veil of Darkness as well. Because the good thing about the Omnitics is they walk out, they delete something, but then they just kind of die. Like, they're not the most resilient. They are quite tough because it's 12 wounds at toughness 6. But if it's like Orcs specifically and they just shoot a squad of tank busters in, well, they literally dead. But at least with the Immortals, I can stage behind a wall, not get charged, and then I can just move out, do some shooting. On average, they'll kill at least 1 squad of 5 Orcs, maybe more, because if I can get a Chronomancer and Imhotep, who I also run in the squad, with his flavor and staff as well, and then run behind it again. And they can't interact with that for a while. And if they want to do that, they have to really, really push forwards, at which point I can then charge with everything in my army. And they're actually not bad in melee. With 2 attacks each, you pop the strap, so they're strength 5 AP 1. Rerolling wounds, if they're on objectives, they're going to kill a few things. So that's what I'm going to try. Whether it works, I don't know. I haven't been a massive fan of Immortals in general in the meta overall, but I think it can also be okay into things like GSC and Eldar, who we see quite a bit as well, and mass Daka shots into demons. That's right. You
nice.
agree?
Yeah, I think I want to try it. I just don't know if it's like good for singles or if it's like would be good for teams. Because I know obviously I want a singles list, but I'm also trying to focus on a teams list. I do want to try the 40 warriors for teams. I need to test it. I need to actually just knuckle. But nobody wants to play against me. I'm asking for games. I have to tell them I'm not playing Necrons just to get a fucking game in.
And you have to go and play some random people on the TTS Discord.
Yeah, well, I need to play against better players for my feedback.
There are some good players. My last game on there, just against a random guy, was playing Legion of Excess. We played a game. I did beat him. I think I spoke about it. I hate having to roll 9 ups to be able to shoot my Tesseract Volt at Shalaxi, who stood right next to him.
Fuck that.
But he then went on and won his GT with that exact list.
Not surprised.
And it was like a 70 player.
Oppressive playstyle. So I've been playing Emperor Children, and that is really bad for Awakened. Like, just critically bad.
It is if you're playing Wraiths and not the Warriors.
The Warriors. It is honestly terrible. Like, I played against Nat. I think I got 1 point. Like, against Nat, it was so oppressive. They're just like so in your face, and obviously I'm playing on WTC, and so the board's obviously slightly different. But he had like such nice staging that I can't really avoid because the rhinos move so quick. What you do is you have your infractors inside, which scout. So the rhinos then all scout 6, and then you've deployed your noise marines behind. So then you get all of you guys out of the rhino that you need to. They can then they get out 10 essentially because they get out 7, whatever, and then they can advance and charge, and they'll just destroy something. And then the noise marines get in, and then the rhino can move and advance and shoot, and then fire and deck the blastmasters. And it's really good. The damage is crazy, but obviously they're running. I'm playing against and as Cotier, however you pronounce it. Where basically it's the one where it ramps up. So if you declare amount of kills you're going to get each battle round, and then depending on how many, if you meet the one you declared, then you get a buff. So the first buff is reroll 1s to hit, second buff is reroll 1s to wound, third buff is sustained and lethal, and then fourth buff is crit on 5s. But like Necrons have so many little fucking units that they have to use to play the game, and especially Awakened. And then if you kill a character and then they res it, and then you can kill it again because you can kill it in both phases quite comfortably. I would shoot a Scorpeth Lord with the Feel No Pain and just one shot it with a squad of Noise Marines, like, and it's the one with the character in, so you get sustained and stuff, but. It's so oppressive because you just can't play the game with your little pieces, and the Warriors can just get one shot by this 10-man squad because you've got a strat for 4 rolls to hit. If they're on an objective, it's 4 rolls to wound, and it's got lethals anyway, and it's just really, really good. It's really oppressive to play against. I was just I first timed it just then against Awakened, a good Awakened player that has been playing it a lot, and I just walked over him. I just pushed forward and it's like, yeah, can't do anything. Gonna tag you. Can't do anything about it.
Maybe if it becomes a problem, we'll have to change.
We will have to do something about it.
Maybe it's time for big hyper.
I think so.
Volts. I mean,
it struggles into high toughness.
Yeah, the Tesseract Volts aren't going to be good into Orcs. Yes, they'll kill some, but they'll also get deleted pretty quickly with the amount of shooting that they have. So while Mordaka Orcs are kind of around and viable, the Volt probably has to get shelved because I would love to take a Volt. It's just so good in so many matchups, and it will be good into Emperor's Children as well, because a Volt can potentially one-shot at Rhino early on if you go first.
For sure.
And then that obviously takes
and you'll have
their combo.
Yeah, they've got like mortal wounds on the charge and stuff, which you have protection against because you'll have a spider.
Exactly.
The indirect is really good because it's all infantry-based army. It's just that it's so fast.
Yeah.
But it's obviously there's different builds and stuff. It is tough into that. A vault would be good, but obviously we know that tournament organisers, if you've not heard, are banning Mordaka, so we don't know how long it's going to be around for, as in the strength that it is. So obviously Andy's going to Sheffield where they are playing it, right? So,
unfortunately, it would be nice if it would have been nice because then I wouldn't have to think about taking specifically for that. Because if you look at the tournament, the South Coast Super Major they did, I think the top 3
yeah,
were all Orcs, and then in America
that
you had a tournament
weekend
with top 4 Orcs, and so
Yeah.
like Orcs are going to be there. And if you have any aspirations of winning, because I think I'm technically going back as reigning champion, I'd like to defend my crown.
yeah, this is the
Yeah, you have to prep for Orcs, and then if you don't run into Orcs and you end up losing because you face something else that you've made your matchup worse, then that's just
this was the South Coast Super Major.
Mhm.
Top 3 were all Orcs, and then the next
Yeah.
biggest tournament, all Orcs as well.
Exactly. And then if you look down, there are actually more tournaments won by Orcs as well. It was like
Mordaka.
a ridiculous amount. And then when it wasn't Orcs, it tended to be Eldari as well. I think Eldari were up there.
Eldar are doing really good. Windrider Host is so good. That's really bad for us as well. Windrider Host.
I have a practice game against one of the Team Portugal players who's playing Windrider Host, and
yeah,
we'll see how that goes because I thought it was going to be a pretty big win for me, but I'm playing that one on Tuesday next week, I think. So
nice. Yeah, you'll have to let us know.
Interesting as well. But my list is a bit different in that one as well. I think I'm running some Lich Guard to go with Imhotep. Because unlike you, I know you have him at the backfield holding your home objective, and he's okay against indirect with the 2-up save, but he's 100 points. I want a bit more from that, and he can get back up as well. So I feel like I can throw him at my opponent's army, get into the thick of things. He dies, gets back up, and then does his mortal wounds and does an absolute load. Hopefully, he does a lot of damage. Hopefully, and then I can run away and keep him alive to give me the CP after that. But we'll see how that goes out.
Yeah.
And they move really fast, but they also die really fast. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm also running the Warrior block with the Royal Warden. I think the Royal Warden's just really strong. For 50 points, he's got a good gun. I mean, 40 points before the update was really nice, and no one was playing him, and then he went up 10 points, and now we're playing him. It's a bit bizarre how these things kind of happen, really.
I'm having a little look on Meta Monday. I'm just going to add it to the thing. Yeah. I'm just having a look at our stats.
Yeah, we are sliding down.
47. Oh,
still popular.
We didn't play that week. That's why.
Well, yeah, I guess my Annihilation Legion 3-0 is.
Yeah, that won't count.
Oh yeah, we never actually finished off. So at the end of the tournament, I did actually win. My RTT.
You said you tabled him, so everybody hopefully would assume that.
Well, no, he had kind of survived on 3 wins, and then we just talked at his last time.
Oh, okay.
And he gave him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We've jumped ship a bit, but how did you find Annihilation Legion? What was your...
The detachment, apart from the rerolls, the detachment didn't do anything, really. The -1 to hit was nice, but it didn't come up as much as I thought it would.
It's just
more often
nothing burger.
Well, more often than not, because I'm playing kind of MSU, it was... there's no point because he's going to overkill me or he's not going to kill me. Like the -1 won't make much difference. I did it in the practice game against the Carnivore with the Scorpex because he only has 5 attacks. So going from 2s to 3s or 3s to 4s, I can't remember, actually matters quite a bit. So yeah, the reason it did well is because I was just playing good stuff, and like the 4 best units in the game, the DDAs and the Catans didn't benefit from the detachment at all. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Like, there's no way that you could go more destroyers, more flayed ones, because they just, like, at least on the terrain that we played, there's no way for them to get into the game. Or you're just throwing, like, 2 or 3 units forward, staging, but then those 2 or 3 units just die, and then you have to do it again, and then eventually you just run out of stuff. It's not like you can stage a whole army and throw it all forward.
Yeah, I think the list I'm going to take is going to have like 2 6-mans maybe of Scorpefs.
Yeah, but if you're playing UKTC, you should be able to hide them. So.
Yeah, I'm playing UKTC, so I was thinking doing a 6-man of Locust Destroyers.
I would highly recommend that you don't. because they are just garbage, absolute, complete and utter trash. And if
Gonna
your
run that.
opponent's any good, and you go, oh yeah, I get +1 AP against a close eligible target, and these destroyers they reroll ones against close eligible, and if you're on an objective, then you reroll all hits, and they're going to go, okay, cool. So they're going to look at what this 6 blob plus Lord want to shoot at, and then they're going to throw 3 Nurglings right next to you that you don't want to shoot at, and you're going to gain nothing. No AP, no rerolls. And you're going to sit there with these 18 shots from 100, 200, 260 point unit, and you're going to go, well, they've done nothing. Now they're going to die. That's your experience.
Just kill the Nurglings, mate.
Okay, yeah, but that's what your experience is going to be. I spent 260 points to kill 35 points of Nurglings, and then my unit died, and I should have listened to Andy and not bothered taking them because they are shit. And like you can't if you're going to deploy those, you can't deploy them with the 6 Scorpec because there's no space.
Yeah, you put them in reserves.
Oh, you're going to put them in reserves? Okay, so your opponent's like, well, I'm just going to put this one model in the middle of the map, and I'm going to screen out the entire map so you can't bring them in because their footprint's so high. All right, do it. I've thrown down the gauntlet, mate. You punished me with an Annihilation Legion. I won my RTT, so I've done everything I need to do.
Yeah, I'll go to a Monday RTT.
Hey, I don't get to go to weekend RTTs.
And you didn't even take 1,000 points. This guy, the one promise he made was 1,000 points of
995 rounded up is 1,000. So
round it up. Fucking hell, absolute snake. Snakes in the chat for fucking Andy.
Well, it was Annihilation Legion, and you know what? I didn't want to get beat. I wanted to win it. So
yeah, that's fair. I'm just gonna play a funny 18 score pass. I mean, I know I'm gonna lose with it. There's probably gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna beat me.
I mean, the score pets are strong. You just need to have something that kills the things that kill them. So, like, if they're playing 3 Predator tanks, you want to run 3 DDAs to kill the Predators before your Scorpex come out, and then they can't kill them. Otherwise, one Predator literally just destroys that squad. It's embarrassing, but it happens.
Annihilation Legion had a 0% win rate.
Yeah, for some reason my list didn't appear. I think it's because Meta Monday came out on the Monday that I played, so maybe it'll come out.
Yeah, that'll be it next week. Does it do RTTs?
I assume it does because the number of games don't match up to 5 or 6 rounders.
Oh, yeah.
I think it just does overall.
1 Hypocrite player. Let's go. Is that player?
Yeah.
No, it's wins.
The list from the week that we looked at, and most people who did really well with doing Awakened with Warriors, basically some small
2 Annihilation Legion players, 2 Canoptic Court, 5 Hypocrite, 16 Starshatter, 21 Awakened.
But yeah, there was no event wins, right?
For us? There was not now. No, there's not been for ages.
I think that's like 3 or 4 weeks now with not one
ages. Just put us in the bin. What's the point?
It's a challenge, right? You gotta rise.
Yeah, you've got to keep playing the vault. The vault is the fucking guiding light. All 20 warriors.
Vault plus 20 warriors. Now
now we're cooking.
Now we are. Yes, maybe 2 vaults plus 20 warriors.
Maybe 40 warriors.
No, there's not enough points. There's not enough points for that. Unfortunately,
yeah, just don't put any.
Not with all the stuff. I mean, you still only need 1 Ghost Arc, I guess, right? Because I think am I right in thinking?
Yeah,
only 1 Ghost Arc can trigger, or is it just literally each Ghost Arc can trigger once?
I think it's.
You know what?
I don't know. I think multiple Ghost Arcs can trigger multiple units.
While you waffle, I'll check.
Oh yeah, I was going to check. Waffle.
Yeah, so
have you got my dance again?
You got any tournaments coming up soon?
Any tournaments? No. I've got Home Nations. I've got the RTT. That RTT is in 2 weeks' time. I'm trying to take a bit of a break from tournaments and just play loads of practice games for the Team England stuff while it's like. So just knuckle down for Home Nations. I've got like practice games. I've got the league for Stat Check. I've got a scrim against No Name for War Masters. I've got the Denmark scrim. I'm playing against Denmark.
And now you see why we never
I'm
get
playing in
time.
a Necron Mirror. I'm playing in a Necron Mirror. We need to play that game actually, so I
And
can have a run.
And now you see why we never get time to do more content. Because you're too busy playing, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just playing these
So-
league games.
So Ghost Arcs, multiple Ghost Arcs can trigger, but they can only trigger on a different unit each time.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
thought
do
so.
the same warriors, which
6 Ghost Arcs, 60 Warriors. That was my original Star Shatter Thought brain list. And I 20 0'd Tau with 3 Ghost Arcs, which was very fun.
yeah, but
Turns out they don't like supply drop when they're in a mono shooting army.
Nobody likes supply drop, do they really?
No.
Although
It was
I heard
good fun.
some people trying to argue that they should be replacing some of the UKTC missions with supply drop, but I would rather
let's
play
not.
unexploded ordnance than supply drop because at least it's
Yeah,
fun.
supply drop is so oppressive.
Yes,
We
at
played
least-
on that for ages, and the reason they got rid of it is because of how oppressive it
Shit.
is to play on.
And it's worse if, like, Tyranid players with their Norns, they have to pick their objective for the Norn to get the Feel No Pain on, but they have to do that before they know which objective's disappearing. So you go, well, I'm going to pick this one. And then it
fuck
disappears
Norn
on turn
players.
4, and you're like, oh, well, that's kind of ruined.
Yeah, fuck
ruined my
Norns.
entire game. Well, I mean, you'd probably play a Norn, right?
No, Norns are shit.
Dead.
People who play Norns are shit.
Richard.
Fucking yeah, Richard plays 5 Norns with 5 shit.
5 Norns.
He played 5 Norns once at the Battlefield Birmingham, and we paired into each other round 5 on Purge. I shot my entire army into a Norn and did 5 damage, and I still somehow fucking won because he charged me. That was it. He charged me, and then I did more damage to him in combat than he could have literally just won that game if he just sat on the point and was just like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here, get hold more," and then he charged off the point with his Norn into my monolith, and I was like, right, I almost killed it in shooting. Unfortunately,
Well, good times. Battlefield Birmingham. We can have good memories.
Silly boy.
Oh, right.
Battlefield Birmingham.
So are we taking the same list of home nations?
Good stuff. Richard's playing against.
Okay. Are we taking the same list of home nations?
No, but we probably shouldn't.
Why not? Be interesting.
Because the point of like the home nations for us as Team England is to like show.
Yeah, but you're also part of playing in teams is working out your expected outcome of the game and having more games with it.
Yeah, I think it's just that I personally.
Matt has left the building. It would appear. Matt personally. What?
Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm back. I don't know what's happening.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, no, we're all good. So yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, I have to bring a list, and then before every round, because it's all WTC stuff, I have to go like, okay, I'm gonna score this much. Do I think this is a good match? Do I think this is a bad matchup? I'm going for the score, and then they're gonna like, I think they're gonna come round and be like, yeah, can you push? And you got to kind of identify like, can you push? What percentage chance is going to go wrong if you do push? How hard can you push? Because there's some stuff that we just do naturally, right? Like we're playing a game and we're just naturally like, I'm going to attack you here with this model. I'm going to now make problems. Where if you're trying to play like a drawy game or it's like a bad matchup, you don't want to be doing that kind of stuff. You want to just be sitting back and just hold and locking down and playing like a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean the risks that you take change during the game based on the situation, and if the game starts getting to the point where you're like, well, I need to get a draw, so I need to start taking more risks because I'm falling behind, or I only need to get a draw, so I'm going to start taking less risks so I don't, give them the opportunity to get back into the game.
Yeah.
But if we do both take the same list, then we'll have different kind of opinions on how those matchups will be, and then it'd be good to see, like, compare and contrast. If we end up,
I don't mind doing it. I'm probably going to be taking Awaken just because it's what I'm used to, so it's the best thing that I can give.
Yeah,
an open prediction. Basically, I can predict correctly. I think.
I mean, Awaken is also decent in teams in terms of just going out there and getting a result.
It's just blunt, good at blunting. It has bad matchups. Like, it's not good into everything, but it can nearly play every board.
Yeah.
And it just has.
But, like we're taking the solo heavy destroyers because we want some anti-tank for the matchups like Imperial Knights or, Ironstorm Marines where they have a lot of hulls. We want those units to be able to help us, and when they're not in those matchups, then they can just do actions on screen. But when you're playing in teams, you don't need to take those because you can go, well, I'm not going to face those lists. So then you can actually skew a little bit more as well, which means we don't have to cover quite so many bases. And Awakened is pretty good at doing that because some of the units we can put in instead are actually benefit from the detachment, whereas in other detachments they don't really. It's not always the case.
Yes, it's nice. Just have decent amount of flexibility, but they do play very analog. Awaken, you just do. You know where you put in your stuff. You just go here, do that.
Yeah.
Hold point, take point, move model here. Fucking, it's not like you're not even trying to kill your opponent that much. You just live. You're just so durable. But there is counterplay if you know how to play against it.
And the more players play against it, the more use they will get to playing that detachment, which is why I think Awaken's doing quite well at the moment, is because, for a while it was Hyper, before that it was Chaotic Core, before that it was Star Shatter, so people aren't necessarily used to playing against Awaken, but as we saturate the tournaments with more Awaken lists, people are going to become more used to playing against them, and I think we might end up dropping off a little bit in terms of results, so then we'll switch back to something else once, keep it fresh. And that's the beauty of our codex. We do have enough.
I had a game as Star Shatter, but I was using a Vault because it was Andy's idea. But I
butchered it.
But I played it on WTC, and then I just picked a board where I saw on the cards. I was like, yeah, this board looks good. And then I went to actually try and move my Vault out of the DZ, and I was like, oh, this is bad. I could see like all of the objectives, but I just couldn't fucking move anywhere. So I just had like a 420 point chunk of my army just sat there shooting stuff.
Yeah, I mean that list is designed for UKTC.
Yeah, I was just testing it out, and I'm using it in the no-name Scrim. I'm against Eldar, by the way, so I think I should actually be all right. Yeah. But when he was doing the pairings, obviously you have to if you don't know how pairings work, when you do your whole matrix stuff for WTC, because there's multiple choices of tables. Obviously, I'm like telling the person who's doing the pairings, I'm like, yeah, I need these tables here. I was like, I listed my top 5 tables out of 8. I was like, I need like this is the most important. And then it, probably try and give me like 1 to 3. That there will be. I was table pick fucking 5. Table pick 5. I got of my top of my 5th best one. I might just be in my DZ. I could be in danger.
I mean, that's the difference between the WTC and the UKTC is that you were stuck in your deployment zone, but it was kind of deep in the deployment zone. Whereas on UKTC, you're still in your deployment zone, but you kind of waddle over and you dominate in the center of the battlefield, which is.
But it's so easy to like get. It's hard on TTS as well because you don't know the actual size of what can like hover over what to like. Because obviously you can go over the walls by just going up an inch and then down an inch with just one of your points. But on TTS, I don't know for certain exactly where I can fit. I know for a fact that I can sit above the wall quite comfortably, but on TTS it like hangs into it, so I'll just have to explain that at the beginning.
You could just be like that guy from Battlefield Birmingham whose Tesseract Vault was 60 foot off the ground.
Tesseract Vault was like this tall, and that's not even the top of the model. Like that's like to the bottom of the model, and we were like, go check out that Tesseract Vault on the other side of the room. It was on the bottom tables, but it was just like I looked over and it was taller than the building. Like the bottom of it was taller than the building. I was like, that is fucking.
So it was one of the big pieces with the 2 L's, but the 2 L's are on each corner, and there's like a strip in between.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could barely fit say, a carnivore through that gap. You couldn't fit a Land Raider or a Predator through it, but he had a vault sat there,
Yeah,
with the top of it just above the building, and the building was one of the tall ones, and
it was probably like
it's
8-9 inches above the ground.
and it wasn't even fully built because he said he dropped it and it all broke into pieces.
Yeah,
So it was all in a
likely
box,
story.
just a stand with like a few little bits coming out. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
but it was bottom table, so don't
back
worry.
to this story. I played against Sisters, and I couldn't leave the deployment zone, and I was like, "This is horrible." And Sisters are back, by the way, guys. Sisters are actually still good. Apart from, I was so rusty with Starshire. I mostly just Overwatched. I just fucking I walked through walls a couple times,
Mm.
but like I just Overwatched. I mean, I felt very rusty. I'm one of those kind of players. I really struggle to like jump straight back into something. I need quite a few reps to get comfortable again.
Well,
Like obviously, when I was playing Starshot and non-stop, I'm like, yeah, I'm sound. Like, I know exactly what I want to do. I'm planning everything around my reactive moves, my da. And then I went into it and I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
well, I get around that by playing a lot of practice games with different detachments all the time. So even when I was playing with, the Vault King and Hypercrypt every major tournament, I was still going and playing practice games with Phalanx, with Awakened, with Canoptek Court, just to keep them fresh and just try new things and make it fresh for my opponents, because no one wants to play that same list over and over again in practice unless they actually want to play against it.
Yeah.
So like you, sometimes it's hard to get a game and it's like, oh, I don't really want to play that list because it just destroys me. It's like, don't worry, I'm bringing something else, because when you've got a cheat code for the movement phase like Hypercrypt has, it's easy to forget how to actually move models around and predict the next and think about the next turn. So it's worthwhile playing the different detachments just to keep yourself leveled. So you're not always relying on the broken thing that detachment does, because it can easily get changed in a data slate, or a new book comes out which is really good against one of our particular playstyles. So yeah, just try that. Just like try different detachments each time you play, and focus on obviously focus more on one if you're using it for a tournament. But
yeah, I like to just lock in on one list and just like refine it and learn how to play it well. I think that's usually and then that's usually how I operate.
I mean, you want to get reps with the list that you want to play, because when you walk into a matchup and you know what you can do and how to play it, it makes it so much easier than just like, oh, I don't know what to do here, and you have to play as work on that as you're playing. Sometimes you make the wrong choice and you just lose.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Do you have any tournaments coming up? Sheffield, you said.
Yeah, just Sheffield next weekend.
Just Sheffield. Yeah, I'm just looking in my calendar. Yeah, I've got like nothing. I've got Home Nations, that RTT, and then it's May ITT.
There is after Sheffield, I've got a Tuesday RTT if it goes ahead. At the moment, there's only a few people signed up, but I'm hoping there'll be quite a few like me who are kind of waiting until close to the time.
Oh yeah, I'm going to Germany at the end of May as well
Nice.
with Innis.
And there is my local team, Stonehammer, is putting on a GT at Element on the 12th, where there's still tickets, so you can always try and go to that one. Unfortunately, I have to work, and then there's another RTT at the end of the month, and it's a bit of a quiet month, April, really. We've got May ITT coming up next month as well, and then there's a teams event in end of May, but that's miles away. There's a lot can happen between then and now. So just practice and
that one at the end of May. I'm going to a tournament at the end of May with Innis to Germany.
So
it's going to be fucking wild.
Yeah. Do you speak
Sprechen Sie German?
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
9.
Yeah, that's about it, I guess.
I have friends that live in Germany, but they live in Dusseldorf, so it's fucking ages away. Not even relatively close.
Yeah, I think that's the tournament I was looking at maybe going to, because it was a day. I think there's a Baby Metal gig in Germany.
Is that the one?
Yeah, well, I never really got around to actually doing it. Unfortunately.
It's like I've already bought like the tickets and stuff, but it's bloody
Expensive,
cheap.
right? No, it's not cheap.
Yeah,
Germany's not cheap.
not at all.
But I'm sure you'll have a good time.
Yeah, would be good.
Is there a date slate between then and now? I don't think.
No,
No,
I don't
just-
think so.
just-
No, it'll be June. The day it'll be just before WTC, I think. But they announced like all mission cards or something, didn't they? At Adepticon.
Yeah,
But I
but
think it was for Crusade or something.
I can't imagine that would be for tournament play.
Do you see the T-Sun's new T-Sun model? Like it's like a
No.
well, it doesn't look good in my opinion, but it's like this big. It's like it looks like a static micro machine, but
A robot.
yeah, it's a robot, like an Egyptian robot, but it's tiny.
Yeah.
And then it, by the description of it, it could have like low nop until it shoots or something, like some weird stuff.
Okay, that's very weird. Bit of interesting mechanic.
Yeah, it's basically it's something like it's like a guardian that is like hidden, like a really stealthy guardian turret. Fucking weird. I don't know.
Oh,
Just what T-Suns needed. Just what they were missing. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to be the end of the episode. We'll do another one next when we've got more stuff to talk about. We need to at some point do some kind of instructional video because that really popped off. I think that's our most viewed video, the one I did of the Awakened Dynasty shit. So people clearly want to know how do we do it? How do we look so good playing Warhammer? And yeah, so we need to do something like that.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely do one on the Vault. I've been thinking about that as well. But the problem is, like the Warrior one, there's lots of tricks you can do with the Warriors. With movement tricks, charging just to reanimate, how you pull them to get, make it awkward for them. But with the Vault, like there isn't that many tricks. It's just, point and click.
How do I possibly play the Vault?
I'll just shoot that thing and I'll shoot that thing.
Yeah.
Then I won't die. I'll CP reroll that.
We'll think of some stuff up.
Yeah,
We'll think of some stuff. If you guys...
It's more the package. It's more the package of how you...
Anything you guys want to know or a thing that we could do a full video on, put it in the comments, please. We want to help you guys get better. So then maybe you can go 5-0 at a Battlefield Birmingham tournament. Shout out to my coach.
Yes. How's the coaching sessions gone? Is they going very well?
It's gone really well. My client Dave is really enjoyed it. I think he said he's been trying to make an Awaken list with no Scorpeth Lord, so I told him off. And he said he doesn't have them. That's why.
Well, that's understandable because they've never released as a single model, have they? They've only
it's in that package.
I might have a spare one on Sprue somewhere. I'll have a look.
Yeah, so he played a game today against World Eaters and narrowly lost, but his opponent was misplaying something apparently, which kind of affected the game. But he's doing well. He's improving a lot, so I'm happy for him. If anybody wants any coaching as well, we're going to say this now. If anybody wants any coaching, contact me or Andy, depending on who you want. Just remember who's the current number 1 Necron player. But you can obviously go to Andy this side.
Just remember who won with Annihilation Legion.
Who won with Annihilation Legion. Yeah, if you want coaching from either of us, then come talk to us either on YouTube or Discord.
Or in person at events.
Or in person, yeah, if you want anything like that, any kind of stuff. We're probably, as time goes on, we're going to be setting up Patreon extra stuff, which will be deep diving into certain stuff more.
Different units and
detachments,
way to play. And just to clarify one thing you said before, we do have lots of things to talk about. You just need to make some more time, Matt. We've got a whole document here.
We do. I'm only joking. We have a lot to talk about. It's just that I am just so swamped at the moment, so it's just hard to fit everything in. All right. Well, thank you guys for another fantastic episode, and we'll see you next time.
Adios. See you later.
Adios, amigo.